Today, we're going to be talking about choices. Ignorance is not an excuse. When we are ignorant about our action, we have indirectly or unconsciously made a decision to reject the truth. Without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. Good morning, everybody. You're welcome to this platform. My name is Toyin. This is the Junction. Today, we're going to be talking about choices. You and I are here because of the choices that some people made, whether it was consciously made or it wasn't consciously made. What do I mean by that? Whether it was a deliberate choice, a choice of two people coming together and deciding to have a kid, or a choice of two people coming together, not really understanding what they're doing and having a kid, or understanding what they're doing, but not really thinking through the consequences. Either way, they have made a choice. Whether they realize it or not, they have made a decision. See, ignorance is not an excuse. When we are ignorant about our action, we have indirectly or unconsciously made a decision to reject the truth. So imagine a mother of a newborn baby doesn't know how to take care of a baby, takes the baby home from the hospital, decides to give the baby a bath. In the process of doing that, she makes a mistake, the baby is dead. See, the law would not be lenient with her. She should have done her due diligence. She should have informed herself. She should have research how to take care of a baby, and as such mitigates or minimize an error that could occur that will lead to the death of a baby. Ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance is costly. It will cost you a lot because there are consequences for everything that we do. In fact, in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 4, it says that if the farmer watches the weather before they plant, they will never plant at all. He will never harvest. You have to learn to make choices, deliberate choices. Don't give things to chance. And that's why you have to fight ignorance. You have to make a choice in life. What separates successful people from unsuccessful people, what separates the poor from the rich, is because of their choices. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter your background. You can always make a choice to change it. Because there is no one person that was destined to be successful while another one was destined for calamity. We were all destined to be successful. Now it's up to you what choices that you're going to make. When we leave things to chance, when we don't make a decision and we leave things to chance, we are inadvertently accepting the consequences that comes with it. Ignorance is not an excuse. Oh, I don't know. That's not an excuse. Inform yourself. Educate yourself how things work. How does money work? What about my health? In the Bible, there's a very beautiful story. It's a story in the book of 2 Kings. It's about 4 leopards. And back in those days, lepers were ostracized. They are pushed outside the city limit. So these leopards were outside of the city gate. And there was a famine going on in Samaria at that time. The Syrian army besieged the city so that no food could go in or come out. The people of the city were starving. There was famine. And the lepers, here they are. They're starving where they are, about to die of hunger. They can't go into the city gate because they're not allowed. They can't go into the city because they're forbidden to do so. They will be dead. So the other option is to go to the army that besieged the city, the Aramean army. And they had this decision to make. If we stay here, we're going to die because there's no food here. If we go into the city, they will kill us because we're not supposed to be there. If we go to the Syrian army, chances are we can get killed, but they could have mercy on us and feed us. They made a choice to go to the Aramean army. And when they got there, something miraculous happened. The army was gone. They left in a hurry. So they left their food, they left their belongings, they left their gold, their silver. The lepers were like, whoa, they were ecstatic. They ate, they packed, and eventually they're like, okay, we need to share out of this. We can't have it to ourselves. We're going to run into trouble. But the beauty of the story was that they made a choice. They made a choice instead of sitting down and leaving things to chances. How many of us are living our life to chances? Sometimes we use the excuse, well, if God wants it to be, it will be. God wants it to be well with you. Now, you have to make the choice to step out or not to step out. Like I said, everything around us is based on the choices that we made, whether consciously or unconsciously. When we choose not to make a decision, we have inadvertently made a decision to reject whatever it is. We've made a decision. We've made a decision to reject that thing and to accept the consequences that comes with it. Today we're not going to be talking about making the right decision. That's another topic. This is about taking steps, making choices. Because the first step to transformation begins with a choice. A choice to say, I want a better life. A choice to say, I want financial freedom. A choice to say, I want to stay healthy. A choice to say, I want a good relationship with my family, or I want to answer the call of God for my life. I want to live a purposeful life. The choice is yours. What are you going to do with it today? There are 4 things that you can do when it comes to making a choice. 4 things that you need. The first one is you have to be courageous. It takes courage. It takes courage to make decisions. Some decisions are going to be tough, but the journey of 1,000 miles begins in a day. You have to start from somewhere. You have to make that decision. Just because the decision is difficult doesn't mean you should sit down there. When we delay in making a choice, a lot of times we delay our breakthrough. We delay our progress. We delay our success. You could have made that decision 4 years ago to go to school. It's never too late. Now, since you didn't make it, now is the time to make it. When is it a good time to plant a tree? They said 20 years ago, because you need the tree now. If you have done it 20 years ago, it will have been a tree. So the first thing is you have to be courageous. The lepers, they were courageous. If we die, we know we've made a choice as opposed to just dying. They stepped out with courage. The second one is knowledge. Pursue knowledge with all your passion. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 4, verse 6, which a lot of Christians, we love to quote. My people perish because they lack knowledge. But right after that verse, he explained exactly what it means. It's not that information is not available. No, it's not because it wasn't there. It's because they rejected. It says because you have rejected knowledge. The knowledge was there, but they rejected it. See, when we decide not to take action, we have rejected that thing. And you're going to face the consequences. What is the consequence for those people in the book of Isaiah? They lack the knowledge. But the knowledge is there for them. They could have pursued it. Knowledge is very important. Ignorance is not an excuse. Have zero tolerance. Have zero tolerance for ignorance. Do not entertain ignorance at any cost. So pursue the truth. Pursue knowledge. Be somebody that is informed. This is your life. This is the life of your children. A good man leaves inheritance for his children. Inheritance is not just about wealth. What about the culture, the habit that you're living for your kids? I added my own version. I said a good man leaves inheritance for his children, and this is mine. And I said a poor man leaves poor habits for his children. Whatever you're experiencing right now is a result of your habit or the poor choices that you've made. Choices leads to habit. Habits don't start in a day. Habits start because of the choices that we made, whether we consciously make them or not. It doesn't matter. That's what I want us to get today. Whether you consciously made that decision or you don't, you have inadvertently made a decision anyway, because everything that you see around you is based on decision. I decided to shoot this video today. You decided to turn on your phone or your whatever devices it is and watch this video. Now we talk about two things. We talk about knowledge, we talk about courage. The third thing is faith. I had to separate faith and courage. In order for you to step out in faith, you have to be courageous. But I separated the two to let you know that we need a higher help. We need a higher help. We need God to strengthen us when we're weak. We need God to empower us when we're weak. And so we can rely on God to give us the strength when we're weak. Faith is stepping out into the unknown. That's what faith is. It's stepping out into unknown. What is it that God is placing in your heart to do? Faith. Faith requires action. Faith is not just about believing God would do something or that God has promised you something. Faith is about stepping out with boldness, with courage. And then the last one, there are four of them. The last one is taking calculated risk. You have to take risk. The difference between the poor and the rich is because the rich knows that life is full of risk. Whether you know it's a risk or not, when you get in your car, you're taking a risk. You never know what will happen. Somebody can hit you. Every action that we take, there's a risk, some level of risk that is associated with it. You know, I know of a girl that was just coming down the stairs. She fell and she died. She would not have steps any longer. No. The point is that everything that you would do has some kind of risk to it. Take risk, but take calculated risk. You have to be able to understand, what is this about? What are the consequences? What are the benefits? What is it going to cost me? How is it going to benefit me? How is it going to impact me? And then make the right choice. Again, it goes back to knowledge, right? Equipping ourselves with the right knowledge. Having the right people around us that can give us the knowledge, whichever way you're going to get that knowledge, right? If it's through counseling, if it's through reading book, but having that knowledge with you. So those are the 4 steps that you need. Number 1 is courage, faith, knowledge, and ability to take risk, calculated risk. We have to take decisions. Don't ignore the things that you're supposed to do. Don't delay the decisions that you need to make. You're going to make it anyway. You're going to make it one way or the other. If you don't make it now, down the road, you're going to make it. At that time, it may be too late. At that time, it may be so costly. Make that decision today. Even if you fail, we need to learn to make the right decision, right? Like I said, knowledge, calculated risk. But even if we made a mistake, you already know it's a mistake. You failed. You're one step ahead of somebody that did not make a decision. It's still there, dilly-dallying, still there contemplating, still there pushing it aside, denying it, ignoring it. The problem is still there. You have to face it at some point, and hopefully at that point, it's not too late. Cultivate the habit of making decisions, of taking choices. Don't allow or don't let life make choices for you. Life is a terrible manager. Don't let things to chances. You be the manager of your life. Be in control and in charge of your life. Let me know, what are some of the choices that you've made that have negatively impacted your life or positively impacted your life? I have my share of decisions that I've made. I ran away from God. Yes, life taught me a lesson. I had to dance to the tune, face the consequences, but here I am, back again in the Lord. What are some of the decisions that you've made? Maybe positive or negative. Share in the comment so that I can be till we meet again. For those of you who are saying, who is this God? Why don't you tell him to come and reveal himself today? Tell him to come. I want to know you, God. And it would do so.